crash in the waste along the night sky over Earth was quiet until a fireball broke through the clouds. A ship alien and strange fell from the stars, burning, shaking, screaming across the atmosphere. It wasn't a meteor, it was something alive. Something dangerous, or so everyone thought. The ship crashed into the wasteland. The area was dry, broken, full of metal junk and old war ruins. No people lived there now. It was a dead place. Still, when the ship hit the ground, it shook the Earth for miles. From far away, satellites picked up the crash. Military scanners locked on. Bases lit up with alarms. Something had fallen from space and it was still moving. In the middle of the wreckage, a tall alien crawled out of the broken ship. His armor was cracked. His breathing was slow and heavy. His name was Kurtle, a warrior from the Zarkith Empire. His people were known for war, for power, for leaving no survivors. But now, Kurtle was alone. His left arm was injured. One of his eyes could barely see. He looked around, but there was no help, no allies, no voices in his helmet. His people had left him behind. The radio inside his armor crackled. He tried to call his ship. No answer. He tried again. Still nothing. He wasn't just lost. He had been abandoned. His body hurt. His pride hurt more. He crawled behind a broken piece of metal and sat down. He pulled a sharp fragment from his leg, gritting his teeth. Alien blood dripped to the dirt. For the first time in his life, Kurtle felt fear, not fear of death, but fear of being forgotten. Hours passed, then footsteps. Slow, careful, human. A young man, wearing a gas mask and a dirty coat, stepped into view. He moved between the wreckage like he knew the land. His name was Eli. He was a scavenger, someone who searched old battlefields for things to sell or fix. He wasn't a soldier, he wasn't rich. He was just trying to survive. He didn't expect to find an alien warrior. Eli saw Kurtle's body half buried under metal. He froze, his heart raced. Should he run? Should he call someone? Then he noticed the alien wasn't moving much. He looked hurt, dying. For a long minute, Eli said nothing. Then he took a step closer. Kurtle's hand twitched. Eli pulled out a metal rod, a tool, not a weapon. You gonna kill me? Eli asked quietly. Kurtle looked up, confused. The translator in his armor beeped. It processed the words. No, Kurtle said, voice deep and weak. I am not your enemy. Eli looked around. No soldiers yet, no drones, just silence. He made a choice. Okay, he said. Come on, big guy, let's get you out of here. He pulled the alien's arm over his shoulder. It wasn't easy. Kurtle was heavy. But somehow, Eli managed to drag him across the dirt, away from the crash site, toward a hidden tunnel nearby. Under the old wasteland was a bunker, small, dark, cold, but safe. Eli had built it from junk and forgotten tech. It wasn't much, but it was home. He laid Kurtle on a metal table and started patching the wounds. Kurtle watched him. Why are you helping me? He asked. Eli shrugged. You look like crap. You should fear me, maybe, Eli said, but I don't. Silence filled the room. Kurtle looked at the strange human, skinny, dirty, quiet, not a warrior. Not a threat, but somehow not weak. He remembered his commander's voice hours ago, shouting across the battle, leave him. The ship is falling, he's lost. They had left him to die. But now, a human, someone from the race his people had called primitive, was saving his life. It didn't make sense, but it was real. Outside, the military was moving closer. Helicopters scanned the skies. Drones flew over the wasteland. They knew something had crashed. They were coming. Eli closed the metal door of the bunker. He turned to Kurtle. You're not safe here, he said. They'll find you soon. Then, why bring me here? Because you needed help, Eli said simply, and maybe I did too. Kurtle blinked. This human, he wasn't afraid. He wasn't angry. He was just kind. And that was something Kurtle hadn't seen in a very long time. The human refugee bunker was quiet. Cold air slipped through the metal cracks. Pipes hissed softly in the shadows. In the corner, a strange glow from alien armor lit the walls with pale blue light. Kurtle, the wounded alien warrior, lay still, but his eyes were open now, watching, thinking. He wasn't dead. He wasn't safe either. He was alive. In the hands of a human. Eli sat across from him, on a low bench made from old aircraft panels. He was eating from a metal bowl, something hot, something that smelled like beans and plastic. He didn't offer it. Kurtle didn't ask. They stared at each other in silence. In his mind, Kurtle played back the memory again. Fire, screams. The battle in orbit, his own brothers, his own commander shouting orders to leave him behind. Not a single ship turned back, not a single voice called his name. He had always believed his kind were honorable, warriors of pride, but now he saw the truth. He was disposable, a tool, nothing more. But this human, this skinny scavenger from a ruined planet, had carried him through dirt and danger, without asking anything in return. Why? Eli finally broke the silence. You sleep with your eyes open. We do not sleep like you, Kurtle answered, voice dry. Robotic through the translator, only rest, always alert, sounds stressful. Curdle didn't reply. He scanned the room again. There were old computer parts stacked along one wall, solar panels leaning against another. Wires ran across the ceiling like vines. In the far corner, a faded poster showed a rocket ship with the words "Dream Beyond the Stars." "This is your home?" Curdle asked. Eli looked around, then nodded. "Yeah, for now." "It is primitive, yeah," Eli said again. "But it's mine." The alien sat up slowly, wincing. The armor hissed as it adjusted to his movements. His wounds were still fresh, but his body was strong. He wasn't healed, but he wasn't helpless anymore. "You could have left me," Curdle said. "Called your soldiers, turned me in." "Yeah," Eli repeated for a third time, slower this time. "But I didn't." "Why?" Eli set his bowl down. His eyes were tired, but sharp. "You're not the first thing that's crashed here," he said. "Last time, it was a pod. Military got there first. Whatever was inside, alien or machine, they didn't ask questions, they just burned it." Called it security. He stood up and walked to a console on the wall, pressed a few buttons. A dusty screen flickered on, static. Then Shape's blurry video of soldiers surrounding a fire. Something screaming inside the flames. "They're not here to help," Eli said quietly. "Not you. Not me, not anyone." Curdle watched the footage. The sound of the screaming wasn't human, but it wasn't completely alien either. It was something in between. "I was told humans were animals," he said. "Weak, selfish, violent." "Some are," Eli said, "but not all." Outside, the ground shook slightly. A low hum passed through the bunker walls. Eli turned off the screen. His hand moved toward a nearby drawer. A hidden pistol sat inside. He didn't pull it out, but he was ready. "They're getting closer," he said. "Drones, maybe, patrols. They are hunting for me." "No," Eli said. "They're hunting for anything they don't control." For a moment, Curdle looked at the human with something close to respect. This boy, no armor, no weapons, no rank, was fighting a war of his own, a quiet war. A war for survival. Then something unexpected happened. Curdle's armor beeped, a faint signal. A voice. Faint, broken. "You need 30 for secure crash zone. Eliminate all survivors." Eli heard it too. "They're not here to rescue," Curdle whispered. "They're here to erase." His own people were coming, not to find him, to finish the job. Suddenly, he felt cold, not from fear but from the truth. His people weren't just abandoning him. They were covering their tracks. No evidence, no witnesses, not even him. Ellie's eyes locked with his. "What do we do?" he asked. Curdle stood slowly, bones cracking. Armor recharging weakly from the solar panel backup. He reached toward a compartment on his chest plate and pulled out a small object, a metal sphere. "I have one signal disruptor," he said. "Short range, block scans. Will not last long." "How long?" 10 minutes, maybe less. Eli nodded. "Then we better move." He threw open a trapdoor near the floor, a tunnel, old maintenance line, cramped, dusty, but it led to the mountains. He had used it once before. "We go now," Curdle said, but before climbing in, he turned and looked back at the bunker, the first place in a long time where he hadn't felt like a soldier, just a life, a broken one, but still alive. And all because of a human. He stepped into the tunnel behind Eli, the disruptor already buzzing softly in his hand. Behind them, far above, the sound of engines grew louder. The hunt had begun. Hunted by both worlds. Tunnel was long and silent. The only sound was the crunch of Ellie's boots and the soft mechanical whirring of Curdle's armor. Dust floated in the air. Old pipes ran along the walls like skeletons of forgotten machines. For a few moments, it felt like they were moving through the bones of a dead world. "Where does this tunnel lead?" Curdle asked. "Outpost 17, Eli replied, breathing hard. "Old water station. Nobody goes there anymore. It's off-grid." "Do they know about it?" "Maybe, but they don't care. Too far from base, too broken to be useful." Curdle nodded. His disruptor sphere buzzed quietly in his hand, blocking scans from above. But it was temporary. Its power would die soon. When it did, they would be visible again, and the hunt would start fresh. "You have done this before," Curdle said. "Yeah," Eli replied. "I've had to hide a few things. Other aliens, sometimes, broken tech, injured drones, stolen gear. Doesn't matter. Anything the government can't control, they erase." The tunnel shook slightly. A deep rumble echoed through the walls. They both froze. Eli knelt, placing one hand on the floor. He closed his eyes, listened. "Flyers," he whispered. "They're scanning the surface." "My people?" Curdle asked. Eli looked up at him. "Yours or mine?" "Maybe both." Curdle said nothing. His thoughts were racing. His own empire had marked him for death. Earth's military would shoot him on sight. He had nowhere left to go, no flag, no orders, no purpose except one: survive. And maybe protect the one human who still believed in him. Suddenly, a loud metallic screech echoed through the tunnel ahead. A drone, small, fast, deadly, dropped from a ceiling vent. It hovered for a second, then its red lens focused on them. Run, Curdle growled, too late. The drone fired a burst of electric darts. Curdle jumped in front of Eli. His armor sparking as the darts hit, he grunted but stayed standing. With one swing of his arm, he hurled a broken pipe through the air. It smashed into the drone, sending it crashing into the wall with a flash. Smoke filled the tunnel. Eli coughed, waving it away. You okay? Curdle's armor buzzed with damage warnings, minor systems offline, but I am alive. They found us faster than I thought. We must move, now. They ran. The tunnel bent and twisted. Old lights flickered on as they passed motion sensors still working after decades. Finally, they reached a hatch. Eli typed in a long code on a rusted keypad. The door groaned open. They stepped into the remains of Outpost 17. The place was falling apart. Broken tanks, empty fuel drums, rusted control panels. But most importantly, it was invisible to the satellite systems, a black spot on every map. Eli sealed the hatch behind them. We can hide here for a bit, he said. No, Curdle replied. They are not finished. They will send more. Eli looked at him. You've seen this before, haven't you? Curdle nodded slowly. Yes, traitors, assassins, cleanup teams. It is protocol. If a mission fails, no one must survive. Eli sat on a crate, wiping sweat from his face. So they'll keep coming, he said. Yes. What happens if they catch us? They kill me, Curdle said calmly, and they erase you. Eli looked at the alien warrior. There was no fear in his voice, just cold truth. It made Ellie's stomach twist. He stood up and walked to a storage locker, pulled out a bag. Inside was a mix of old human tech, scavenged alien parts, and a few weapons. Then we don't wait, Eli said. We make them chase us somewhere we can hit back. Curdle tilted his head. You wish to fight? I've been hiding my whole life, Eli said. But they're scared of you. Your own people are scared of you. That means you're important. He paused. And maybe if we expose what they're doing, if we send proofy. Curdle's eyes lit up faintly. You want to send a message to both sides, Eli said. Yours and mine. Silence fell again. Outside, high above, more drones began sweeping across the wasteland. The disruptors' hum faded. Their cover was gone. The hunt would begin again, louder, faster, deadlier. Curdle took a deep breath. His armor hissed softly. His injuries still ached, but something inside him had changed for the first time. He wasn't running from war. He was choosing to fight back, not for an empire. Not for pride, but for a human who believed he could be something more than a weapon. Eli handed him a power cell. You ready? He asked. Curdle gripped it tightly, recharging part of his suit. He looked up at the sky through a broken roof panel above them. Two worlds hunted him, but now he had a new reason to live. And they would learn he was not easy to erase. Echoes of Betrayalrain fell hard over the wasteland. Thick clouds covered the stars. The sky had no moon, no light, just thunder and the faint whine of machines hunting in the dark. Inside the broken outpost, Curdle sat alone, armor removed, skin marked by wounds both fresh and old. His breathing was slow, his mind restless. Eli was nearby, working on an old transmitter, trying to power up the comms. He had no idea that behind Curdle's silent face was a storm of memories. 2 cycles ago, aboard the Zarkith warship Vorkin, the control room was full of red lights. Alarms echoed through the steel walls. Curdle stood at the center, sword arm raised, shouting commands. Divert power to shields. Prepare for emergency descent. Across from him stood Commander Varnock, his superior and once his brother in battle. But something was wrong. Varnock's eyes were calm, cold. We cannot risk the ship for one unit, Varnock said. You are expendable. Curdle turned sharply. What? The data we carry is more important than your life. We are warriors. We leave no one behind. But Varnock already gave the order. Abandon Unit 7, launch sequence now, before Curdle could protest. A sharp blast hit the side of the ship. The floor cracked. He was thrown into darkness. That was the last time he heard Varnock's voice, not as a friend, but as a traitor. Present day, Curdle stared at his own hands, strong, deadly, built for war. But his hands had also saved a human life. What am I becoming? He thought. The past and present twisted inside him. The voice of his commander haunted him still. Expendable. Eli walked in, holding a tool in one hand and a power cell in the other. He stopped when he saw the look in Curdle's eyes. You okay? Curdle looked up. No. Flashbacks? Memories, lies, betrayal? Eli nodded slowly, then sat down beside him. The two were silent for a moment. I've been betrayed too, Eli said. Once, someone I trusted sold me out to the military. I barely escaped. What did you do? Eli looked away. I stopped trusting everyone until you. Curdle blinked. Simple words, but powerful ones. Suddenly, a sharp beeping sound came from the corner. The transmitter was alive. A weak signal. Curdle moved to the device. The language was alien but his. He began decoding it quickly. Eli leaned over. It's your people? Yes, Curdle said slowly. An encrypted message, not from the Empire. This is from a ship that's not logged. A ghost ship, or something worse. He pressed a few keys. The voice that came through froze his blood. Unit 7, this is Commander Varnock, we know you are alive. Cease resistance extraction unit inbound. Do not contact outside forces. Eli clenched his jaw. That's him? Yes, Curdle whispered. You were never meant to survive, but if you surrender, your death will be clean. Then silence. Eli stared at the screen. He's still trying to control you. Not anymore, Curdle said, but deep inside, something cracked. He had followed Varnock into 100 battles, saved his life, fought side by side. He never imagined the betrayal would run so deep. Eli stood up. We send a message back. No. Curdle said, not yet. We let him believe I'm scared. That I'm alone. And then we show him I'm not. Outside, engines roared in the sky. Curdle and Eli looked up through the broken roof. 3 ships, small, silent, fast, not Earth's. Zarketh assassins. They had come. How did they find us so fast? Eli asked. They've tracked my armor's old beacon. Curdle said, I left it behind in the tunnel. Eli smiled. You set a trap. Curdle nodded. They will land there first. We have a few minutes. Eli grabbed the box inside. We're signal boosters, hacked drones, EMP grenades, then let's make those minutes count. Minutes later, near the entrance of the tunnel, the alien assassins arrived, tall, armored. With glowing blue eyes, their weapons were silent. Their orders were clear. Find Unit 7, kill on sight. They stepped carefully into the ruins. But something felt wrong. To quiet. To easy. Then a drone flew up, human-made, with alien upgrades. It scanned the assassins and sent out a burst. EMP blast. Their suits flickered. Communications broke. From behind the wall, Curdle struck. He moved faster than a human could follow. One assassin fell in seconds, his blade cracked. The second fought hard, but Curdle was stronger. He didn't kill them, he disabled them. Eli came from the side and activated a capture field. Energy bars locked around the assassins. Message received. Eli said to them, Youth are a traitor. One of the assassins hissed. Curdle stepped close. His voice was calm. No, he said, I'm awake. The broken alien Seth's sun had not yet risen. The sky above the wasteland was deep gray. As if the world itself was holding its breath. Somewhere in the distance, thunder rumbled. But it wasn't from a storm. It was from dropships. Curdle stood at the edge of a cliff overlooking the dead valley. Below him lay the bodies of Zarketh assassins, alive, but unconscious. Their suits were damaged, their weapons disarmed, and their mission had failed. Behind him, Eli worked on the communication array, fixing wires, boosting signals, scanning frequencies. His hands were dirty, his eyes were tired, but his mind was focused. How long until it's ready? Curdle asked. Few more minutes, Eli replied. I'm routing it through an old weather satellite. If it works, we can send a message. Beyond Earth's net. Good. You sure you want to do this? Curdle didn't answer. His silence said enough. This wasn't just a message. It was a declaration. He was about to expose his own empire, and they would not forgive him for it. As the satellite link powered up, a strange symbol flashed on the monitor's Zarketh code. A live signal. Curdle stepped forward. The screen flickered. And then Varnock's face appeared. The same eyes, the same voice, but colder than ever. Unit 7, he said. I expected silence. Instead, I find rebellion. Curdle stared at the screen. His fists were tight. You left me to die. We followed protocol. You lied. You used me. You were a soldier, a blade. Now, you are a loose thread, and threads must be cut. Curdle leaned in closer. I have proof of your betrayal, and I have human tech to send it to the outer colonies. Once I upload it, the council will see what you've done. You think the council cares? They gave the order. Silence. Curdle froze. He had prepared for Varnock's lies, but not for this. They wanted me dead. You weren't just a warrior, Varnock said, voice like ice. You were a witness. The Earth mission was never meant to succeed. It was a cover. We were testing bioweapons. And you saw too much. Curdle felt something break inside him. His whole life, he believed in honor, in loyalty, in purpose. But now, the truth stood before him. He had been used. Then discarded. What now? Eli asked, stepping beside him. Before Curdle could answer, an alarm blared. A security drone screamed across the monitor. We're not alone, Eli whispered. The camera feed showed Earth Military Unit Small Squad, moving fast. They had tracked the satellite signal. They had locked on the outpost. They're coming here. Eli ran to pack the last gear. Curdle activated his armor, weapons locked into place. Shields powered up. He turned to Eli. We fight together. But Eli paused, then handed him a data crystal. This has the transmission, the proof. If I don't make it, send it. No, Curdle said. We both live. Eli gave a faint smile. Hope so. Minutes later, the base was under siege. Earth troops flooded in drones, tanks, commandos, flash bombs lit the ruins. A deep voice called out over loudspeakers, "Drop your weapon, alien target identified. Human accomplice will be detained." Eli raised his hands. "I'm not with them." But it didn't matter, he was tackled to the ground, zip-tied, and dragged away. Kurtle watched from above, hidden behind a wall of rubble. His armor's targeting system locked onto multiple enemies. He could attack, he could kill, but if he did, Earth would call it an invasion. And the proof of the Zarkith betrayal would never be believed. He had to make a choice. Rescue Eli now and become a wanted killer, or wait and risk losing the only human who ever saw him as more than a monster. His hands shook. His breath grew heavy. Then a voice came from his comlink. "We have the human. Return to orbit. Unit 7, surrender and his life will be spared." Varnock, he was watching everything. Eli was bait. Kurtle stared at the sky. His ship was long gone. His people had turned against him. Earth wanted him dead. He had no army. No allies. But he had one mission. Save Eli, not because of strategy, not because of orders, but because Eli had saved him first. And now it was his turn. He spoke into the calm. "Tell Varnock, I'm coming for him." Asterisk, a warrior's choicest military base sat deep inside a canyon, built to be invisible from satellites, shielded by EMP fields and protected by walls of steel and drones. No one got in. No one got out, unless they were meant to. Inside one of its underground levels, Eli sat in a cold metal chair, wrists bound to the table in front of him. His lip was cut, blood dried on his chin. He didn't remember the fall or the punch that came after it. What he remembered was the voice that ordered his arrest, and the cold metal hands that dragged him away. The humans around him didn't trust him. They thought he was a traitor, a terrorist, a sympathizer, but the truth was simpler. He had helped someone they didn't understand. And now, he was alone. Almost. Because far above the base, in the darkness beyond radar, something was coming, and it was not a rescue mission. It was a reckoning. Kurtle stood on the edge of the canyon, looking down at the enemy stronghold. His armor, patched and recharged from stolen cores, was locked into stealth mode. His weapons had been modified, non-lethal, stun-focused, low-kill energy bursts. He didn't want to start a war. He only wanted one thing. To get Eli back. But deep inside, a voice whispered, "You are a weapon, not a savior." He shut it out. He remembered Ellie's words, "You don't have to be what they made you." The wind howled through the rocks. And then, Kurtle jumped. He fell like a shadow, silent and fast. His boots hit the canyon wall, skidding down as his armor absorbed the impact. Seconds later, he was inside a drainage shaft, crawling through darkness, every movement calculated. Drones buzzed past above, never noticing him. He knew this place. The Zarkith had helped design it during early Earth-Zarkith cooperation projects. He recognized the layout, he knew the weak points. And he knew the prison level was beneath the main reactor. Kurtle moved fast. He took out guards with shock pulses. No kills, only silence. He avoided cameras, scrambled sensors, opened doors using stolen codes. And finally, he reached it. Detention cell B7. Through the small window, he saw Eli slumped over. Barely conscious, but alive. He stepped in. Eli looked up slowly. "Core?" Kurtle knelt beside him, cutting the restraints with a heated blade. "You came," Eli whispered. "I told you I would." Eli gave a weak smile. "You're an idiot, correct?" They shared a rare moment of silence, then the alarms began to scream. Unauthorized life form detected. Lockdown in progress. Eli stood with help, leaning on Kurtle. "They know you're here. I want them to." As they moved through the halls, heading for the surface exit, armed soldiers blocked the path. Kurtle didn't stop. He threw a light grenade. It flashed, blinding the guards. He disarmed one with a single twist and tossed another into the air. A pulse wave knocked back the squad. No one died, but everyone knew now, this was not just a breach. It was a statement. They reached the comms room, the only place in the base not fully under Earth control. It had a satellite uplink, old and unused, but still connected. Kurtle plugged in the data crystal, the one with the recordings, the orders. The voice of Commander Varnock admitting the truth. Eli hit the final key. Uploading. Sending to EarthNet. Doubter colonies. Zarkith rogue comms. Confirmed. Transmission in progress. But just as the file hit 80%, the screen changed. A video appeared. Commander Varnock's face again. "You're not the first to betray US," he said, "but you will be the first to make us stronger." "What is he talking about?" Eli asked. Kurtle's eyes narrowed. "It's a trap." The base suddenly shook. From the launch pad above, a new ship arrived. It wasn't human. It was Zarkith tech, a hybrid vessel. And behind it, soldiers wearing Earth and alien armor mixed together. "What the hell?" Eli whispered. "They've joined forces," Kurtle said, "not governments. Not armies, but factions, those who want war, chaos, control. The transmission was still running. If this gets out, Eli said, they lose everything. Then we protect it. The final battle of the outpost began. Curdle fought like the old days. Blades spinning, energy pulses cracking through air, armor glowing under pressure, but this time, he fought with purpose. Every strike was to protect, not to destroy. Eli backed him up with hacked drones and pulse mines. He was no soldier, but he was brave. Together, they reached the roof. The ship tried to take off, to jam the signal, but it was too late. The message had already reached the outer colonies. The truth was out. As the sun finally rose over the horizon, Earth forces and rogue Zarkith began retreating, not in victory, but in panic. Because now, the galaxy knew the Empire had lied, the humans were experimenting. And one alien warrior with one human friend had brought it all down. They stood together on the roof, bruised and burned, but alive. Eli looked at the sky. They'll come back. Let them, Curdle said. Eli turned. What now? Curdle looked at the rising light. We build something new. What's that? Curdle paused. Then said, hope. Not just a human. Stars above Earth were no longer quiet. In orbit. A dozen ships hovered, some Zarkith, some human. Their weapons were armed. Their commanders were nervous. The truth had spread across the galaxy. The video was everywhere. Commander Varnak admitting the Empire's betrayal. Earth soldiers assisting in secret war experiments. And to fugitives, one alien, one human standing against them all. Now the galaxy waited. Would the governments deny it? Would they retaliate? Or would they change? On the ground, Curdle stood atop the cliffside bunker, armor darkened by dust and battle, but his posture steady. The weapon on his back was sheathed, his hands were empty. He wasn't here to fight, not yet. Beside him stood Eli, his jacket torn, one eye still bruised, but standing tall. What started as survival had become something more. He had become something more. Not just a scavenger, not just a human, a symbol, a spark. The message from orbit came through. Commander Varnak requests to meet face to face. Eli frowned. That's not a good sign. Curdle didn't blink. It's a final move, one last manipulation. You sure? I know him, so what do we do? Curdle turned his head slightly. We go. They were flown to a neutral zone. An old battlefield now turned into a silent field of broken machines. Wrecked tanks, shattered drones, torn flags from both sides, history's graveyard. And standing in the center was Varnak. Still tall, still calm, still cruel. He was unarmed. Behind him, soldiers watched from both Earth and Zarkith sides. The world held its breath. You've made quite a mess, Varnak said. Curdle stepped forward. You made the mess. I just stopped hiding it. You broke the code, turned against your kind. Sided with this creature. Eli smirked. Nice to meet you too. Varnak's eyes narrowed. You think this little alliance changes anything? He asked. You think exposing us will stop war? It never stops. It only sleeps. Then let it sleep. Curdle said, let it rest. And what will you do? Varnak snapped. Run away. Beg for peace. You were born a weapon. You were trained to kill. You can't change that. Curdle stepped closer. You're right, he said. I was made for war. But I met someone who showed me I can choose what kind of warrior I want to be. He looked at Eli. He saved me, not with a weapon, but with mercy. Varnak scoffed. Mercy is weakness. No, Eli said. It's power, the kind you'll never understand. Suddenly, Varnak raised his hand. A small device blinked red. If I can't stop the truth, he said, I'll bury it. He pressed it. The ground shook, a hidden failsafe. A massive energy pulse began charging deep beneath the soil. A weapon left by the Empire long ago, enough to destroy everything in a 100-mile radius. A last resort. Ellie's eyes widened. He's going to wipe us all. Yes, Varnak said. Erase it all. Erase the shame. Curdle charged forward, but Varnak activated a shield around himself. Nothing could pass. A countdown began on the nearby screen. 60 seconds. Curdle looked at Eli, then back at the broken battlefield around them. He had one choice left, one that would define who he was. He turned to the soldiers watching, both human and alien, and shouted, You want to follow him? Go ahead, but know this, he'll destroy us all to stay in power, not for your safety. Not for your honor, for his ego. He pointed to the pulse generator rising from the ground. But if any of you still believe in something better, if any of you still believe we can be more than weapons, then help us stop this. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, one soldier lowered his gun, then another, and another. Until finally both sides opened fire, not on each other, but on Varnak's shield. The field began to crack. The countdown hit 15 seconds. Curdle turned to Eli. Go, get to the core. Eli ran, diving toward the pulse control panel. Sparks flying around him, he typed fast. His hands bled. 5 seconds. Come on, 3, Curdle roared, slamming his arm into the shield one last time. 2. Eli screamed, hitting the last key. 1. The pulse stopped. Silence. Then dash relief. Varna cased and frozen. His power gone, his plan ruined. Soldiers surrounded him, not as followers, but as witnesses. He had lost. Days later, a message was sent across the galaxy. From Earth. From Zarkith survivors, from the mouths of two who stood together. We are not just enemies, we are not just weapons, we are more, and together we choose peace. In the silence that followed, Curdle looked at the stars. He had no home anymore. But he had a future. Eli joined him, holding a rebuild transmitter. What now? He asked. Curdle smiled just a little. Now we rebuild. Eli laughed softly. You sound almost human. Curdle looked at him. Maybe I am.